Well, 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 looks like we're cleaning up some other formats. Hey, 34% of you that have not smashed the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button, smash it so we can climb up the 110,000 ladder here. So first of all, we need to have a discussion. Master Duel just came out of their last championship, showcased all of these amazing cool decks, and then every time that we have these events, well, guess what they do? They make a ban list because they didn't like some of the interactions and things that were coming out of it. And guess what we learned with that previous list? Oh boy, Block Dragon's a problem. It's almost like 60 card grass decks are not very fun decks. Huh. You know, I swear that I could have predicted that, but alright, so Block Dragon is finally getting limited to 1. I will say that for the majority of this list, though, for these big changes, not hitting things to bigger numbers, like to 0, I think is interesting. And then we finally got, yes, Supreme King Starving Venom finally goes to 1. Now, to be honest with you, I like the fact that it's banned in the TCG, and in the OCG it's at 3. To be honest with you, I think 1 is fine. You know, we talked about that this card has had a couple of FTKs built around it. Who would have guessed that? But putting it to 1 does kind of open up the door here to maybe we could see this card's return in the TCG. I might be a little bit crazy for saying that, but I feel like they use Master Duel as a particular testing ground for certain interactions here, and I'll explain one of those further down the line here in the particularness of this. So the fact that we are seeing the Starving King Dragon here getting pushed to 1, I think is very interesting. Now, look, it's a runic hit. To be honest with you, 3 of these cards is insane. Alright, they didn't really go after runic, but this is a slap on the wrist for runic, and it's a big one that needed to be done because trust me when I say this, alright? Runic is insane in this game, and it is a problem, alright? And they needed to clean this up, alright? To 2 is a slap on the wrist. I very much think that if they're going to continue to leave Runic in its current incarnation, that they will probably move this to 1, or they'll go after Fountain. But like I said, this is very much a hit for Runic, for sure. Now, Aluber going to 2, I think that this took a lot longer than it really needed to. The fact that this card has been really just the big go-to searcher for 95% of, you know, the Albaz BS that's been going on. This, once again, this list is a very slap on the wrist for about half of these archetypes. All right. Panad Duality to 2. Pot of Prosperity's at 1 in this game. We have, they're really going after these consistency enablers in this game, which I think is fine in the long run. You do have to, considering the way that this game works, you have to limit the number of interactions because, and also technically this is a Flaunderies hit, if I had to say so as well. I mean, once again, they just banned Stormwinds, one of the most problematic cards that we have seen in so long, and they're like, all right, cool, we're gonna have to go ahead and clean up some other shenanigans along the way, so that's fine. Kagari getting the semi-limit treatment down here. This is very much a we're going to kind of see how this is going. Now, for those of you that do not know, Engage is in fact at multiples in this game, which means they're doing this to sync up with the OCG right now. So you're going to get multiple Engages, multiple Kagaris. How much does this actually change the flow of the game? I think this adds just a very little extra layer of consistency to Sky Striker. I don't think that this will be enough to push Sky Striker off of the bottom just yet. Maybe if they push this to 3, we could see a potential shift there, but I think for the most part that's what you're seeing here. Divine Wind of the Mist Valley was formerly at 1. Now, this is kind of interesting here, because 95% of the interactions with this card usually are just going to be, it does some like infinite loop shenanigans, And I understand that like multiples of this could potentially lead to some shenanigans, but leaving it to 2 gives them some testing room here for the TCG. Because like I said, formerly TCG it's at 1, OCG has it at 3, but you know how the OCG is. Like, they'll have way more numbers. Now, this is the one that I wanted to talk about. This is future-proofing if I have ever seen it. This format is testing 2 Spellbook of Judgments. Now, hear me out for a second, ladies and gentlemen. This is ballsy, if anything was ever said, because Spellbook of Judgment at 1 kind of flopped. It had a couple of little interactions. It was cute to see do its thing, but never did I think that they would put this to 2 in Master Duel. And I do strictly stick by what I'm about to say here. I think that this is testing to move this card to multiples on future ban lists. They want to test this in Master Duel and go, maybe, just maybe, we can move Spellbook of Judgment to 2, alright? And like I said, 3 is dangerous as crap, alright? They know what they're doing here. I'm willing to see where this one plays out, and I'm very curious to know if this will actually break things or not. And if it does break things, then they just simply move it back to 1 on a future list. It's not that unheard of right now, but this is definitely future-proofing for the TCG and the OCG, 100%. Ortho Scorpio to 2. OCG still has this locked up at 1. TCG has this at 3. You know, it hasn't really done much. I do know that this format does have Brilliant Fusion at 1, which is, is a problem in itself, to be honest with you. I don't like some of the interactions that this card does bring to the table, but I think releasing it to 2 does give the OCG a chance to test this as well. That's 2 big changes here that I think are going to be orchestrated for testing for the OCG. And then we have Supreme King Dragon Darkworm. I also think that this is testing for the OCG as well, because formerly this was, running around at 1 in the OCG. Moving it to 2 lets them test the waters here and see if this actually does make a difference. I mean, the card is super strong. Nobody's denying that, but I think that a simple release for this to semi-limit is another test. I mean, 3 in a row there for future ban list testing. Then you got Zen Medi here, banned in the TCG, finally moving it to 3 in Master Duel. I definitely think that we'll probably actually see this formally return here in the TCG on an upcoming list. The fact that now in 2 formats that it's been cleared of its testing and getting the chance to come back pretty much indicates to me that, hey, you know, let's go ahead and finally free up Zen Medi. This card's not as much of a problem as it looks like. And I mean, to be fair, it really isn't that much of a problem. And then we've got ABC Dragon Buster here going from 2 to 3. I mean, the card now officially is at 3 in all 3 formats. I don't think that this card... The OCG was very, picky with this one when they initially hit it. And I don't know. They made some very interesting decisions for their former list. Now, real final thoughts on this. There's a lot of future-proofing here that the OCG and I think that the TCG is going to use to make some future ban lists. Like I said, I think Spellbook of Judgment is one of those that they're going to begin testing here to see if it gets a chance to come back. Testing Starving Venom to 1, I think, is a TCG possible in conclusion here. I mean, they're doing a lot of crazy things with this. And I do think that Zen Medi going to 3 pretty much will indicate that we're probably going to free this up here on a possible future TCG list. I mean, it's cool when you can look at a ban list like this and go, wow, you know, we have some implications for future formats here. And yes, they're pretty much written on the wall here. I'm very excited to see how much of this will actually impact here in the near future. I almost wonder if this is going to kind of start telling us that we could see Engage come back in the TCG to 2. That'd be good. I do like the fact that this list does communicate that with us, though, and does open up the door. And if you are a Master Duel player, well, congratulations. You know, you probably just crafted all those cool new decks that you saw a day ago just for them to clean them up in January. Beautiful. I will see your beautiful faces back here later on the day after you guys leave a comment down below and tell me what you guys think. Peace out, guys. Patron.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.